There are actually three realities. There's the Gashmias, the physical. There's the spiritual, and there's the godly. So there's Ruchnias and there's Elokus, and then there's Gashmias. Right? Ruchnias and Gashmias are opposites. They can't work together. One denies the other. You're either into Gashmias or you're into Ruchnias. Right? Gashmias means that the physical is real to you. Not just that you like it, everybody likes it, but that it's real. You're grounded. Your perception of reality comes from the physical. If it's physical, it's real. You may not even prefer it. Spiritual is better or higher, but come on, real is Gashmias. Spiritual is nice in your free time, nice things, but real is Gashmias. A spiritual person is not just somebody who enjoys spiritual activity. Everybody would. The spiritual person is somebody to whom reality is spiritual. The physical just is not convincing. It's necessary, it's good, it's not the real thing. The spiritual is the real thing. Maybe you can compare it to a hedonist versus an intellectual or an artist. What's real to you? To the hedonist, art is not real. It's beautiful. It's not reality. And to the artist, the physical is nice. He could use a paycheck, but that's not real. So it's a clash of two realities. The more you reject one, the more open you are to the other. So spirituality, in a sense, demands a rejection of the physical, to some degree at least. Godliness is a completely different thing. A person can be physical and immoral, sinful. A person can be spiritual and immoral and sinful. Because spiritual doesn't have rules. There are no laws in spirituality. It's the nature of spirituality that dictates, just like in the physical. There are no laws. It's not you have to eat this, you have to eat that. Whatever tastes better, that's what you eat. So the nature of the physical dictates. The same is true with the spiritual. What is spiritual works a certain way, and that's the only way you can work it. There's no right or wrong. There's just the nature of it. Godliness means, what does God want? What are we doing for Him? What's the godly thing? Now there, it could be God wants Gashmias, like a Mishkan, made out of Gashmias. Could be He wants Ruchnias, like the carbon that you bring in the Mishkan. So, which depends where, depends when. So if you're into Ruchnias, you're following the dictates of the nature of the spiritual. If you're into Gashmias, you're following the dictates of Gashmias. If you're into godliness, whatever He wants. Sometimes He wants you to be spiritual, sometimes He wants you to be physical. In all cases, you're being godly, neither physical nor spiritual, and that's why you can be both. Because you're not following the nature of Gashmias or the nature of spiritual. You're picking out what the Eibishter wants in the Gashmias, in the Ruchnias. So both the person living in a Gashmistic environment and the person living in a Ruchnistic environment both have to pay attention to what the Eibishter wants. It was really fascinating that a homeopathic doctor who came to see the Rebbe when the Rebbe wasn't well, and his assessment of the Rebbe was that he was a soldier, a revolutionary, and so I said to him, but what about spiritual? Because there are spiritual remedies, for spiritual symptoms. He said, what? Why spiritual? I said, come on, the Rebbe goes to the oil and he spends a day there talking to his father-in-law. That's not spiritual. He says the Rebbe does that because it's his job, not because it's spiritual. Which is so on target. And he didn't know that the Rebbe once said a whole sikha that he doesn't really understand why people need to run to holy places and to graves of tzaddikim. He says, I'm not into that. So here you have a person doing something highly spiritual, but that's not what he's interested in. He's interested in the godliness of it, doing a Jew a favor, getting him a bracha, fixing a problem. So he comes there to a very ruchniyazdike place with a bag of homework, which is mostly Gashmias. So whether you're a spiritualist or a physicalist, whatever those words are, but what about the godliness? So it doesn't matter where you live, we're on a mission. So we don't follow nature, we follow the Eibishter.